Growing up, have you ever had a crush on a TV or a movie character, and that person has forever changed your love life?
That's totally me.
What if I told you I'm gonna give you the ability to talk to that character
What?
and see if you have the charisma to make them fall in love with you? What if I told you I did this with the one and only Plankton from SpongeBob? Hello. Long story short, I went to a fair last year where a bunch of engineers built stuff, and it's kind of like a science fair. I brought two things. I brought jet knives from Valorant, where you can shoot the knives with your hands, and a gas sliding fish. So I won't delve too much into like the whole social engineering aspect, but it turns out that a lot of people don't like being roasted. What? Yeah, it turns out a lot of people enjoy watching other people get roasted, but being the subject of the roast itself was not the best thing for them. So my girlfriend and I, we talked, and she came up with a really cool idea. Why don't we improve the self-confidence of everybody? Why don't we build something that tests your charisma? In this case, we chose a character that everybody knows and loves, Plankton from SpongeBob. It's broken up into 3 steps. You're gonna talk into the microphone. You're gonna tell him he should leave Karen for you. And then he's gonna process your Rizz. For that, he's gonna rate it. It's that simple. Oh yeah, this is looking like our timeline. And if we don't complete everything by the time the convention starts, because I already submitted my application in Microsoft Paint, my 3 cats will forever have to wear cones of shame. So let's hope that I build it. And to the people who are still watching, asking, why are you building this? To that I say, why not? I'm gonna do some GPT. I'm gonna do some text to speech, and oh, look at that.
Not bad.
I'm done.
But a bit straightforward for my taste.
Well, it's that easy, huh? All I needed to do was use some paid services, but that is not me. Let me tell you a story. To give a history of myself, I am incredibly cheap. A great example of this is some old T-Mobile legacy plan where I only have 2 gigabytes of high-speed data. I've been using that for 10 years now. I refuse to upgrade because it is only $5 a month. Now, if I am penny pinching over $5 a month, expect me to penny pinch the services I use for this project. Let's break it down into 4 distinct things that will set me apart from any other person building this. 1, I'm gonna try to make it as offline and as cheap as possible. I refuse to spend more than $5. That is my budget. I will also limit the amount of Wi-Fi I use. Some people may be asking, hey, Tommy, you could just use 11 labs and you can clone Plankton's voice. No, that is more than 2 gigabytes of data. So what I propose is we make the text to speech and speech to text fully offline. And then the final thing that I want to do is I want to make it engaging. If you saw that video, how everything was working, you would be like, wow, that is incredibly boring. Software in itself is incredibly boring. We are going to build an animatronic where you physically see something move because nobody likes looking at a screen. All right, we are now interviewing my cat. Rufus does not know how to do speech to text, but luckily we know where to start. When you say, hey Alexa or hey Siri, it's not actually magic for why they're able to answer your question. And let's visualize it. Let's pretend a microphone is always listening for something. It then has some software behind the scenes that translates that audio to text. If a keyword such as hey Siri or hey Alexa appears,
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Stuff like that will happen. Intuitively, you now believe that you have to answer with a question or an action that you want it to do. That sounds awfully similar to what we're doing, right, Rufus?
Why, yes, father.
You used to have to scour the internet for outdated models or free open source projects that allowed you to use speech to text. The refined versions that Google, Apple, or Amazon use was not really available for people like you and me. But OpenAI really lived up to its hype. They released Whisper AI, a open source model that allows people to convert any audio from speech to text. And as an added benefit, it's fully offline. So back to our project. This is how I made speech to text.
Huh?
Hey, didn't I tell you? Software's pretty boring, so let's go on a side quest real quick. So outside of making YouTube videos, I always want to do something interesting with my life. And I found out that Mr. Beast was hiring. I said, hey, why not? I'll give it a shot. The people at Mr. Beast really liked what I sent, and they found out that I am a software engineer. They asked me, why the heck are you applying for a personal assistant? You're overqualified, dude. And I was like, I don't know, I thought it was pretty fun. So another team had an available position open, and they flew me all the way out to Seattle. I gotta show them things I've worked on or the things that I can provide for the team. One of them being, funny enough, the speech to text stuff applied to something else, of course. And after the third day, they realized how amazing I was and just how much of a fit I wasn't gonna be on the team.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Welcome back. With a bunch of tools these days where you can make presidents talk to each other or characters from your favorite show sing Katy Perry to you, you would think that text-to-speech would be one Google search away. Well, the problem was, every single guide was either a paid service, required internet, or just slow. You would remember that all of these things are a no-no for my specific use case. And that brings us to Lessons with Tommy. Products sometimes do this thing called white labeling, where they take a product, they rip off the label, and they slap on their own and call it their own. Software is no exception. So our goal is to find the original software that makes all these companies do their thing. I read through multiple articles, watched every YouTube video I could, and with months of research, we discovered TacoCat 2, or the real name, Tacotron 2. TacoCat 2 lets you clone a voice by feeding it audio files with transcriptions, and then uses math to turn any sentence you type into speech that sounds like the original voice.
Give it a solid 7 out of 10. Nice try.
And just like that, time was ticking. We got a few questions from the venue, and with a little bit of back and forth, we ended up on the front page of the website. You would think that's great, but with fame came doubt, and with doubt came procrastination. So much so that there was only 2 weeks left before the event started. Now, I don't know about you, but when a deadline approaches, a bunch of ideas start flowing in, and the scope of the work just goes crazy. These 2 weeks would have been dedicated to making one animatronic. But since I was on the front page of the website now, I felt like I needed more. And so I did more. I made the breaking news fish from SpongeBob, but that required a second animatronic. And with a bunch of sleepless nights and countless prototyping, we got it. You were getting bored of that story. Don't lie. After hours of working on this ending, I did too. So let's transition and just talk about what the heck happens after I build something like Rizz Plankton. Remember, last year the roasting fish was a great attraction. The only problem that it had was that everybody was not having equal amounts of fun. The people who were getting roasted did not like getting roasted. And the people who were looking at people getting roasted thought it was a hilarious thing where their friends should go in and get roasted. So this year we had a plan. Content creators are masters of marketing. And I, a successful content creator, knew exactly what to do. We are gonna pull one from the book and we are gonna buy our customers love. Hear me out. The worst thing that can happen in a convention is when you're sitting down and operating your booth, you look at a guest, they look at you, they look you up and down like you're some object, and they see that you have no value. So they just awkwardly scuttle away. So how do I stop them from walking away? You give them a reason to come to you. Anybody who gets their Rizz rated is gonna walk out with 2 things. 1, they're gonna walk out with a Master Rizzler card, or 2, they're gonna get a Womp Womp No Rizz card. Anybody who wants a challenge is gonna come to our booth, and through word of mouth, we should technically succeed. And you know what? It worked. We made it on stream, we got featured creators to visit our booth, and there was close to 0 awkward interactions for anybody who came to our booth. By day 2, I heard some people telling me that they were looking for our booth in line. And you know what? It got even better. I got accepted into Carp Tank, a parody of Shark Tank, where I could demonstrate this in front of 40,000 people on the main stage of the event. Just kidding, I read the message an hour late and I didn't get accepted.
Breaking news! Plankton is now giving out Rizz ratings, and let's see if you've got more swagger than a sea cucumber. Breaking to your attempt to flatter my posterior is misnoted in mentioning my failure with the Krabby Patty formula just taste. You clearly don't understand the complex beneath that.